Hello and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about how the European Union was born. The idea of a united Europe has been around since the end of World War II. We must build a kind of United States of Europe. If we do not do so, Europe will not know any peace. This speech came just 4 months after the end of World War II and marked the beginning of a new era in European history. The countries of Europe had been divided into two opposing camps during the Cold War, but after the war, they came together to create a new international organization that would promote peace and cooperation. This means that it has powers that are greater than those of its member states. Another important policy is the EU's environmental policy, which has helped to protect the environment and improve air quality in the EU. Despite these challenges and obstacles, the countries of Europe have come together and created the European Union, one of the most successful international organizations ever created. The EU has brought together former enemies and created a single market with free movement of goods, services, capital, and people. It has also created important policies that have benefited its member states. Some people have argued that the EU is undemocratic because it does not have its own elected parliament. However, the EU has been able to overcome this challenge and has created a number of important policies that have benefited its member states. This process of reconciliation and cooperation has been one of the most important achievements of the EU. However, the creation of the EU has not been easy. For the first time, the idea of a united Europe was put forward as a concrete proposal. One of the biggest challenges has been the different cultures and histories of the European countries. The countries of Europe have a long and complicated history. They have fought many wars against each other and have often been divided into hostile camps. The different cultures of Europe have also made it difficult for the countries to work together. Despite these challenges, the countries of Europe have managed to come together and create a single market with free movement of goods, services, capital, and people. They have also worked together to promote peace and stability in the region. Beethoven's speech inspired others to take up the cause of European unity. As the continent looked around at the devastation that had been wrought by the war, it seemed obvious that something needed to change. There had been centuries of conflict in Europe, but never anything like this. This was followed by the Treaty of Rome in 1957, which created the European Economic Community, which eventually became what we know today as the European Union. Now the EU has grown to include 27 member states. Together they form a single market with free movement of goods, services, capital, and people. The EU has also played an important role in promoting peace and stability in Europe. The leaders of the victorious Allied powers wanted to ensure that there would never be another world war, and they believed that the best way to do this was to create a new international organization that would bring the countries of Europe together. On May 9, 1950, French Foreign Minister Georges Bidault addressed the French Assembly. One of the most important supporters of the idea was Italian Prime Minister Alcide de Gasperi. In a speech to the Italian Parliament in April 1950, de Gasperi called for a new system of collective security based on the pooling of resources and the establishment of common institutions. He, too, believed that a united Europe was the best way to prevent another world war. The idea of a united Europe began to gain momentum after these speeches. In May 1950, the Council of Europe was established with the aim of promoting political cooperation between European countries. However, it was not until May 1955 that the first steps were taken towards economic integration with the creation of the European Coal and Steel Community. The creation of the EU can be seen as a way of turning former enemies into friends. There have been many challenges and obstacles along the way. Another challenge has been the fact that the EU is a supranational organization. One of the most important policies is the Common Agricultural Policy, which has helped to increase agricultural productivity in the EU. Thank you for watching. See you next time.